Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob. And in this video, I'm going to make something for my own gun. And we're going to make a barrel break for my AEA M50. And I've already threaded this thing. And I drilled it for a 1/2 inch, but I've got to bore it out another 2 millimeters. I like a millimeter on each side of my pellet as that thing's going out the tube. So I've already got it ready, already threaded, and we got to check to make sure that it threads all the way down to the seat, and it does. And so now the next thing I need to do is drill this part out or bore this part out so that it's bigger than the pellet by 2 millimeters. That gives you 1 millimeter all the way around the pellet. So we're going to take and bore this 1 millimeter, and when you do 1 millimeter it does 2 millimeters because you're doing two sides because it's round, remember? So I'll set up on the lathe and we'll go ahead and bore this. I hope I do okay on the boring. Alright, so we're going to stick this in and see if we can't bore this out. Alright, so now we need to figure out where we're going to put our flutes. We're going to put 6 flutes in it. And that's what she looks like down inside. Let's see if I can get you guys looking down in there. Looks pretty decent. This will be the muzzle end, and this will be the end that screws on. So now what we want to do is, and this is just going to be a crude drawing, this is not going to be what it'll actually be, but we want to start probably about 4 or 5 millimeters from where that seat is inside there. So I would say right around, well, let's just get an actual measurement as soon as I find my calipers. Got too many fingers going on here. Alright, so we want to make that mark right there. Alright, so now we know where that seat is. So we'll move over about 5 millimeters, maybe more. And then we're going to do around 16 millimeters long. And we're going to do that all the way around, and then we're going to put another mark the same distance from here to here, about there. And this part here will be chamfered, and we will go in once we've got all the holes made in it on the mill. Then we can put it back in the lathe, and I took 1 millimeter or 2 millimeters, something like that, 1 or 2 millimeters deep, with a chamfer on both sides, using that blade in the lathe. And or actually, I think we're going to go this route. I remember now that I changed it. I had to go with the round because the pointed one was leaving me a lot of lines, lathe lines. So I used the round one to go in and clean it up. That's why I ended up with 2 millimeters deep. And then the corners would round up. And then I just take and chamfer it a little bit with my sandpaper or something like that and feather it in. So we'll have these all the way around it, and then I will cut it off around about right there and just make a fancy end on it. So the next thing we need to do is make all these holes, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Alright, so now we've got it tight. So now all we got to do is stick this thing in, and I always take my 1, 2, 3 block, and I'll put it up against this jaw and bring it right up to it, and then that's where I'll lock it down while I'm pressing down on it to keep it flat on the bed. So now I've already done one of these, and I haven't changed any of the settings. So this is already in the center of the part. So now that we've got this thing ready, we can lock down our Z-axis, and then we're going to come back here to about center. I'm just going to eyeball the center of where these two lines are here, and then I'm going to zero my DRO, and I want those to be 16 inches long, but they're actually going to be a little, or 16 millimeters long. So I'm going to go that way about 7 millimeters. So because we got to remember, the center is off from the side, so you got to count half your drill bit. So I'm just guessing at around about, we're not trying to get an exact. So we're just going to bring that over to, well, we'll do 8. That'll work. And now I'm going to re-zero. So now that's my starting point every single time. So I'll start here, I'll drill this hole, then I'll come over here 16 millimeters, drill another hole, and then I will flip this and do it again, and flip it and do it again. I only need to do it 3 times. Then once I've got those drilled, then I'll take the milling bit, end mill, plunge into the first hole, go down to where it's past the center, and then we will go 16 millimeters. And we'll do that for each one of them. So we're going to just speed this process up. Alright, so now that we've got our holes all drilled, and it don't matter what it looks like, because remember, we're going to do a recess here in the center. So, so now I got to change the head. Alright, so now I'm set up with my milling bit. Now the milling bit is just a little bit bigger than the drill bit. I did that so that I wouldn't end up with a little groove here that stepped up to a square hole. We want that to be nice and round. So we're going to go in with a milling bit that's just a little bit bigger than the drill bit and plunge, and then we'll walk all the way across until it hits this other side. And then we'll come around and do the rest of them the same way. Alright, now we've got it all out. I missed one there, so I had to go back and do it again. And that's what it's going to look like right there. And I still ended up with those little steps. That's a prime example of what I was talking about. Them steps. What I should have done was, I don't know, my drill bit must have drilled bigger this time because it did perfect on the other guys. Anyway, so now we got to turn this section here. So we'll go back to the lathe after I get this out and we'll turn that. Alright guys, I don't know if I got it recorded or not, but I just took my pocket knife and just trimmed these little edges out from where when it was turning, it pulled on this side of the hole some of the aluminum, so I just trimmed it off and then I sanded it. So now I'll take and go inside here with a file and just smooth that back out. And we'll do it in both directions. So there is the barrel brake for the M50. So let's see how she looks. There we go. I don't think it needs any flats on it. I ain't gonna be putting no wrench on it. I'm not gonna be putting it on so tight that it takes an act of God to get it off. Now I'm getting that stuff all over my scope. But yeah, that's what to do. Take a dirty rag and clean it off, right? I'll take and give it a good cleaning when I take it back in the house anyway. My hands are got that gray stuff from the aluminum from fire or sand and that. But there's the barrel brake for my M50. And if you guys would like to have one made, email me and say I would like to have one. Now there's a lot of work involved in this, doing this, as you can see. But right now, I'm not going to be making any more of those because I don't have any more stock left. The only thing I got is the big stuff, and this is dedicated for other stuff. And then I got this little stuff, so that's not even big enough to do anything with. But if somebody wants me to make them one, they'll have to order it, pay for it. I'll take the money, go get the material, make it, and send it to you. Probably be about a week behind, something like that. I mean, it's just an idea. If you want me to make you one and you think that you'd like to have one like that on yours, I could probably make them for any caliber. In fact, I know I could. But anyway, that's how I work on my mill and my lathe, making stuff. Ordered all the parts for the go-kart today, so it's weekend. It's Saturday night, so nothing's even going to show ship until Monday anyway. So it's probably going to be about a week before I get all the parts to put that go-kart together. I got to go get some stuff to clean the oil and stuff and grease off of the motor and get it nice and pretty like this one. And that one's going to be easy to clean. That thing's going to look like a brand new one when I'm done. But anyway, that's how I made my barrel brake for my M50. Tell me what you think and what you would do different. I think it looks pretty damn sweet. And that came out of a piece of aluminum. Just like that. Anyway, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit that button down there, the bell, if you want to see more videos. Anyway, y'all have a good one. Later.